Hi friends, so we're back here using recycled materials in order to make something new, something upcycled, something, so we say upcycled meaning that you're raising it up as you're recycling it. So today I'm going to be using a pasta box. This is just the kind of pasta that my family eats. Yours might be blue, yours might be yellow, whatever it is, it's totally fine. So I'm going to be using this box in order to create a supply container. So if you notice, I've already opened the top of it and I've opened the bottom of it. Many times your pasta boxes will be closed like this, and this way I just popped open the edges. So to create this container, I am actually going to cut along one of the edges, just like this. I'm going to cut straight along this top edge. And the reason I'm choosing to do this is there's a little window right here, and I want to be able to see the supplies that are inside of my box. So I'm going to leave this window facing up. So yeah, there's no window over here. That's the window. Okay, so taking my scissors and making sure my hands are out of the way, I'm going to open up my scissors all the way and cut down. And cut down, and I'm just cutting right along that fold. Okay, so now I've got basically an open piece of cardboard here. Okay, now I'm going to take it back up. So I'm going to take these edges and I'm going to fold it back up just like it were a pasta box again. So but instead of taping this part down, I'm going to leave it up. So I'm going to tape these two edges in so it looks like this. So I can tape, I can staple, or I can glue. I happen to have tape available to me, so that's what I'm going to use. And again, in our last video, I showed you how to use the tape and make a roll of it by sticking the sticky part back down to the unsticky part. I'm taking this and I'm putting it right, that roll of tape right on that flap. And again, I'm going to take that roll of tape, putting the sticky to sticky part, putting it right on that flap. And while I still have it flat, I'm going to do it on the other side as well. And if you need to use a pair of scissors to cut tape, that's okay too. Just make sure that you get all that stickiness off that tape, or off the pair of scissors, so you can actually use the scissors again. Okay, so now I have this. I'm going to open this up. Take this flap, right there, press it down. Take this flap, put it inside, and press that down. I can remove any extra old cardboard and put that in the recycling. Now moving on to this side, I can bend this back so it's out of my way. And again, I'm going to take this flap, fold it down, and this flap, tuck it inside, and press it down as well. So now I've got a nice looking box. These edges can fold down if you want to. If you'd rather have the black outside, you can actually cut right along this edge so that you can see this black outside edge. If you want to have the flaps so you can stick the flaps inside and have it closed, that's also totally fine. It's your choice. It's your box. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more tape on the inside just to make sure it's reinforced. And then we'll talk about how we can either use some recycled mail or paper that we found around the house to decorate this. So now that I've got this all taped up and ready to rock and roll, we're ready to go. So if I wanted to just leave it like this, I could. But I can look at some of the mail that I've seen from some of my parents. So many of you see your parents throw out envelopes all the time. These envelopes, a lot of them have backs that don't have anything on them. So maybe you're starting to run out of paper. Maybe you didn't have paper to begin with, and that's totally fine. But a lot of us get junk mail, and junk mail tends to have really nice surfaces that we can actually use. So if I cut this envelope apart, I'd have this whole area and this back piece. So I'm looking at it and realizing that this piece of white paper is actually just the right size for this box. So what I can do is I can take my pair of scissors. I opened this letter when I opened it. I made sure that I didn't ruin the top edge. And now I'm going to cut it open. Anytime that you are using something that your parents might have to deal with, so mail, scissors, things like that, You need to always make sure that you're asking for permission and that someone is there watching you to make sure you're being safe. Okay, so now that I have I cut along those side edges and I have a very nice open piece of paper. I know personally that I want to use just this piece, so this piece can get thrown away. I do know that one of the issues that's going to happen is that I have this window, and I wanted to keep this window because I want to be able to see what's inside of my box. So what I'm actually going to do is, first of all, this is a little bit bigger, this piece of paper. So I'm going to take this, and I'm putting it down, flat on the table, and I'm going to fold these edges in. And what I'm doing is I'm lining up the edge, this edge of the box here, and this edge, so that I only have to cut off paper from 2 edges instead of having to cut it off from 4. So you have the option here of either folding the paper in and just gluing it on like that, but personally I'd like to cut it. So I'm going to look in my supply container, I'm finding a pencil, and I'm holding down with one hand because I'm just tracing a line. And there we go. Remove that, put my box aside for a second, make sure I always put my supplies away to keep my work area clean. And now I'm going to cut on those lines. And when you're doing things like this, it's really helpful if you have a trash can nearby so that you can just put your scraps directly in there. No one wants to get yelled at for keeping a messy space. Alright, so brought my box back, and here we go. Okay, so this fits really nicely. But again, I still have to worry about that opening. How am I going to figure out how to use that opening? So what I'm actually going to do is I flip my paper over on the back. And because it's a raised surface, I can actually take a pencil and rub along the edges of it to find where the edges of it are. So just like when we do printing and it makes a reverse image, this is creating that same reverse image by rubbing a pencil on top of it. So see how I can now see the actual edges of that opening, just like that. So, and because this is the back, it doesn't matter. I could either erase it if I wanted to or leave it just like that. So in order to get this shape cut out, I'm going to fold my paper, take my scissors, use the elbow of the scissors, so that's the inside edge, and cut just a little snip right in there. Now that I have a snip cut, I can put my scissors in here, and I can cut into and around that edge. So I'm using nice, smooth, I'm not chopping at it, I'm just moving the paper and letting the scissors do their job. And then I'm going to cut around. And there we go. So again, keep that trash can close to you when you're working on things, especially with the paper. And now I flip it over, and ta-da, it fits! So now again, I can see what's inside of my box. If you have paint and you want to paint on one of these, that's awesome. Make sure you put a piece of paper down. I think my video just froze. But make sure you put a piece of paper down before you start painting and that you ask for permission and assistance with painting. You know that normally I have the supplies ready for you, but with this, you're gonna need help. Okay, so if you're not painting and you just want to tape this on because that's what we've been doing, again, you can use those rolls of tape. Measure them. Sticky part gets rolled back onto sticky part. Any extra edges you can either cut or just roll back in. And then again, measuring. Stick it on. Roll, roll, roll. Any extra edges can just get folded back up. And then make sure it's positioned where you want it and stick it down. So this is my box. I could label it with what's inside. I could decorate it. Maybe I have stickers around my house. Maybe I have other things. Maybe I have a stamp. Anything you'd like to use, but remember, if it's not yours, ask for permission before you use it. Alright, my friends, I hope you enjoyed learning about how to use a pasta box to make something to hold your supplies. Look, ooh, my tape fits in here. And I believe so does my hole puncher and my compass. That's awesome! Alright, my friends, I hope you had a wonderful time learning how to do this. Remember, you are free to email me. I'd love to see what you're doing or post it on Blackboard. I will see you all soon. Have a wonderful day.